stirrup around you, so. Boy said last night he died.
Exactly. You know, he had a previous injury.
Oh, did he?
And I think when the tackle was made, I think it irritated the previous injury, maybe blood clot or something. That's just speculation.
Right.
They haven't really said what caused it.
I
I gave all my Jersey Shore right order shirts away because I wasn't on the board anymore at that time. So the neighbors are big sports people, so I gave it to them. But
It's sad.
it is really, yeah. That's, you know, we haven't had too good a record as far as no injuries.
Yeah.
Now this one, somebody dies.
We have two Lowe's kids out. One torn ACL and torn meniscus or whatever. We'll say it fundamentals. Two of them.
Did you realize this senior class was the same class that Joey was able to run? So the senior class out there, those football players, a lot of them played in Canada. That freshman class is what I have.
Really? Yeah.
I hadn't realized that, so yeah, I was really sick of it.
That's
Which
really
makes it even harder to have gone through that as an athlete, seeing one thing.
That's true. But I can't seem to find out the details. I heard he was injured before. I don't think anybody knows.
No, that's been pretty quiet. Yeah, I didn't realize that he was even, we were told that at the Loyalsound game, he was just dropped. They didn't say that he was active.
From what I heard, that supposedly there was a concussion present when he went out to play, but that's just rumors, I don't know.
I've heard the same thing.
It could have been a blood clot. That's my speculation. If you have a previous injury, it could be a blood clot in there, and then when you have that second shot, it moved. And everything. So that's just it's really sad.
That's why I'm gonna put my kids in theater.
Right? Thank God my son's never wanted to play.
That's fine.
My son
Mine
wants to.
has, and he said, no, I like to nurse. She's like, at the earliest, I considered it middle school.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's what we kind of pushed him out, and then by the time we were like, you want to? He's like, I don't.
he loves baseball.
Well, so my boy got a ball in baseball, he plays.
And that's where I'm hoping he stays.
Yeah. But we had
Not a problem, he's a pitcher catcher.
Yeah, I
Still
know.
not as much risk at catching.
we had a low side player last year. The way he hit, he came through, and the ball hit his back, bounced up his face. He had 44 stitches. Thank God he didn't lose any teeth.
Wow.
It just made him wide.
Yeah, when I used to pitch, I got a line, I mean, great here. Knocked the wind out of me, I was passed out. From that day on, I did not want to pitch.
Right. Yeah, that would scare you.
And I lost my interest in ball. Man, I'll never forget that. But yeah, things happen.
There's I don't think it went anywhere, and I forget where it was. There was a lawsuit against one of the bat manufacturers a couple of years ago for the exact same, before Little League had changed the rules relative to the bats and stuff. And so those loaded bats where kids were just hammered balls.
Yeah, hit him too hard.
And they said that they knew that the velocities coming out of these kids' back, that's what happened, if a kid hit a ball, line drive, and caused kind of like a traumatic brain injury. And so the family had sued the back. I don't know whatever happened with it.
Right.
Just know the suit happened.
Yeah, the suit happened and it changed bats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ball hit me right here. Could have been right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lucky.
That's back when we were still using wood bats, right? I get to pick.
Yeah, I don't know what they can do to those helmets to help prevent that. I don't think there really is much more they can do.
There's only so much you can do. I mean, look at them even now, even the NFL players, they wear the sleeves of pads that go over their helmets now, just to even protect them even more in practice. Kind of tells you something. They were protecting them more in practice, but they don't wear them in the games.
Yeah.
I didn't have to that started up. I don't know what it is.
Our apologies for being late. We were delayed.
No, no, he's on vacation. Yeah. He didn't pass away? No. Just changed my prayer. Yeah, that's what we were told to. So, let me see.
He's on life support, I believe. He's on life support.
I hope he's okay.
I'm gonna see if that's the one, or if this is the one up here.
Krista should be on.
Is anyone on?
Nancy from juvenile probation.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy.
Mr. Rogers.
Just a We apologize for being a little bit late here. So at this time, I'd like for you to join us in a prayer and a pledge. Okay. I see some people are wearing orange today in honor of Max Angle. So let us, dear Heavenly Father, join and focus on one prayer today. That we pray for the quick recovery of Max Angle and his family. Because in time of distress, puts a huge burden on minds and souls, not only of the family and friends, but of the community. And we would like, Lord, to let the community of Jersey Shore and their family know that we are standing in solidarity with them in their hour of need. So we also pray that we discover why so many young athletes are collapsing on football fields all over the world. And we ask this in your name, we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to convene the Commissioners' meeting and seek approval of the previous minutes.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Now we would ask for a public comment on agenda items only. Hearing none, we're going to move on to reports.
For reports, we have Keelan Barnes to approve the accounts payable cash requirement.
Good morning. Presented for your ratification are invoices due through September 20th, 2023 to be paid on September 13th, 2023 in the amount of $2,737,941.39. The breakdown is as follows, with 35.93% being funded by the general fund at $983,822.02. 61.42% is being funded by other grants and pass-through funding at $1,681,732.30, and 2.64% is being funded by RMS at $72,387.07. And in being transparent with the public, $1,632,409 of the grants, of the cash requirements, is a pass-through grant for children and youth as payment under the Child Welfare Act.
Great, that's very helpful. Thank you. I see also there's a $372,152 for Kevin Raker Construction, which is the Tools Run Bridge rehab. Okay. Okay.
Want to go to 2.2?
Yep, item 2.2, Keelan Barnes vote to approve the jury panel payment report.
Presented for your ratification is jury panel number 20 to be paid on September 11th, 2023 in the amount of $2,365.80, and this is funded 100% through the general fund.
Very good. Commissioner, you want to comment on we had a budget report with the courts yesterday, and with our jury selection in the panels, we were getting complaints that how many were being chosen during the course of the year, and when they come to our meetings, go over there for signing up, that they're there the whole day they don't have access to computers, phones, or anything like that. And Mark, I believe you brought that up. So I just want to let you know, we did discuss this, and if you wanted to comment, I'll comment this.
Yeah, maybe in terms of the letting the phones in, I think it was a unanimous consensus among the judges that it was too problematic for people to possibly be looking up on their phone either an issue that comes up during a trial or a person who is there as a witness or a person or anything that could be somehow related, and that when they weighed the possibility of people possibly using their phones, because that could end up in a mistrial, right? If a juror accesses information outside of what's presented in the trial setting through some means, such as a phone, on a break or whenever, it could end up in creating a problem. People can bring work with them in terms of paper. They can bring reading material. If someone had a report that they were trying to amend or correct or whatever while they're waiting. But I think that the question of the phones was really of great concern, and I can understand how one's thinking, well, will it really hurt if I look up? You could look up something not related to what you were thinking you were looking for and have a pop-up that comes up about the trial or something, related to it. So
We had a murder trial and gang related, and so what we were unaware of when we had the policy of anybody can bring cell phones was that these members were taking photos of the jurors, which were intimidating them, and so immediately we stopped it, bringing in the cell phones, simply for that. And then when you brought this up, we went over and said, well, listen, they're jurors. They're serving their community, and sometimes it's a whole day, sometimes it's a whole week, and they don't have access to what they need. And we thought it was a reasonable request to allow just the jurors to have it. So then, they did some research from other counties of where, we talked about gangs taking pictures. Well, they're talking about the jurors using their cell phone for discovery, right?
Yeah.
To learn more about the case, which ended up in other counties having a mistrial. So, we're not going to force the issue. If that's the way that courts want it, I'm not certain whether we have the right to do that anyway.
right.
So, but we will agree with the courts on this one and let the policy stand.
And I think as difficult as it is for people to comprehend, for decades and decades, we never brought our phone anywhere, right? And so
That's true.
So I think that, and it's a new generation, it's true, especially young people, but how exciting is it to learn to live without a essential device for several hours? That was tongue-in-cheek.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to number 3 for information items, we have Tony Visco to acknowledge the county will be.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Commissioner, thank you very much. I meant to note that to you, that we needed a motion on those 2 items.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I'll move to approve the reports 2.1 and 2.2 related to the
and I'll second.
accounts payable. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
Moving to number 3 for information items, we have Tony Visco here today. Tony, would you like to come up to the podium? To acknowledge the county will be requesting bids for interior renovations to the existing 3rd floor of the 3rd Street Plaza.
Well, good morning, commissioners and everyone else. I'm Tony Visco, architect for the current 3rd floor renovation project at the 3rd Street Plaza. And we do have the drawings complete. I did bring just the floor plan just for the public if they want to look, or if you as the commissioners want to look over. But we did make quite a few of the changes that were initially discussed with the minor ones discussed with all three of you at our meeting, I guess about a month ago. And we're just requesting that we're permission to be able to put this project out to bid so we can get moving on this phase. We are currently developing and have completed the design renovations for the first floor, and also we'll be shortly looking at some of the improvements for handicap accessibility, or making the property itself more handicap friendly as well.
So is it, if once you put it out to bid, it'll be published in the, I mean, where will people contact? So that's what I'm.
Well, it'll be published as required by and
Right.
such for advertisement for bids.
Okay, and you'll have a place where people can contact you.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I will move if that's acceptable to you, Vice Chairman. I will move to have that, give them the authority to do that, because we really are trying to get that done as soon as possible.
Yeah. And after looking at it, I mean, you put a lot of time into this. And thank God we have, we have an architect that's local here and understands the county government.
Just blocks away.
Yeah, and just blocks away. So yeah, I really like what you created there.
Thank you.
Yes.
So there's a motion.
I'll second
Okay.
the motion.
Okay. You wanna
All in
take a
favor?
vote? Aye.
I forgot who was the chairman.
You're acting chairman today.
Thank you. Aye. That
Aye.
motion carries.
Anything else from me?
No.
If you like, I can leave the board with the floor plan on here for your review if you like, and I can even stick around to the end just to go over that with you if you like as well.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
That was an informational item, but we did put it on the agenda just so that we could speed up the process.
Moving to personnel actions, Commissioners seeking your approval on the following. For the pre-release center, we have Andre King as a resident supervisor 1, full-time replacement, $18.10 per hour, 80 hours per pay period, proposed start date of September 18th. Also for the pre-release center, we have Casey Shellman, resident supervisor 1, and a part-time replacement, $18.10 per hour, not to exceed 1,000 hours annually, and due to start in September 25th. For RMS, we have Adam Moser, a recycling laborer, a full-time replacement, $14.50 per hour, 80 hours per pay period, start date of September 18th. And in the assessment office, Andrea Hammond, moving to a clerk 4 role, full-time replacement, $17.33 per hour, 75 hours per pay period, proposed transfer date of October 1st.
We need a motion on this? Is
Yeah,
this carried,
I'll-
or is this going to carry into the action items?
We have to get
I'll move to approve the personnel actions in attachment A.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And do you happen to know off the top of your head how many vacancies we have now?
like total, I think we're at 23 this week. I have
23.
to double check.
Okay.
And we're at
That's
5 at the prison. I know that for certain. I checked that this morning.
23 plus 5?
Nope.
23 total, including 5 at the prison?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, well, that motion carries. At this time, I'd like to recess the Commissioners' public meeting for the Salary Board. I'd like to convene the Salary Board. Have a motion to convene the Salary Board.
I'll move to.
Krista, are you on the line?
Yes.
Okay.
Seeking your approval on the following salary board items. In the Register and Recorder Office, request to move Kimber Smith, Deputy Row Office, to be reclassified from a pay grade 7 to a pay grade 8 with a retro back to January 1st of 2022.
Could I have a motion?
Move.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Before we do that, can I just clarify, we're doing this reclassification for what reason?
I think that she was actually supposed to be in pay grade 8 and somehow due to a clerical error was being paid in pay grade 7, which is why we're giving her back pay. It was a simple problem of someone not receiving the correct pay that they should have received.
I just wanted that on the record. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, no problem. Right, there was no policy part of it. It was simply a clerical error in the computer.
Okay.
Next item is for.
One second.
Oh, sorry.
Did we carry the motion?
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We all in favor? I don't think we finished.
Okay.
Okay.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
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 Good point. Thank
Any opposed? That motion does carry.
you. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Next salary board item is for information services. Request to change the pay rate for Ronald Weaver, who is a tech specialist with us, to $22.39 per hour to correct a previous clerical error where he received the incorrect pay rate. This would be retro back to his start date of July 24.
Okay, could I have,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Okay, at this time I'd like to reconvene the Commissioners' public meeting.
Moving forward to the TDA actions. First one, request to approve Kimber Smith, Deputy Row Office, to be reclassified from the pay grade 7 to a pay grade 8, retro back to January 1.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving to the second item for informational services, request to change the pay rate for Ronald Weaver, tech specialist, to $22.39 per hour to correct a previous clerical error, retro back to July 24.
Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries.
Moving forward to action items on the agenda, Mitzi Gallagher Long, vote to approve the following fiscal year 23 CDBG resolutions. Who'd like to come up to the podium?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Last week, we talked and held the final hearing for your CDBG 2023 project selection, and we reviewed the 3 resolutions that are required every year by CDBG. So the 3 resolutions for your approval today, the resolution number 17 is your resolution to apply, which directs CEDACOG to submit the application on your behalf and empowers Chairman Metzger to sign the application pages. Resolution 18 is the 504 Compliance Officer designation, which reappoints Mr. McDermott as your local 504 Compliance Officer. And Resolution 19 is your Fair Housing Resolution, which reappoints Mr. McDermott as your local Fair Housing Officer.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the 3 resolutions described by Ms. Gallagher Long.
Okay. I will second that, and I do have a question. Is the submission of the application, is that something that we can wait for Commissioner Metzger? Commissioner Metzger is not here today because he deserves a few days off. He's been putting in a lot of time. So could I sign for that, or should we wait
He
for
can
his-
sign the resolutions when he returns. That's
Okay.
not a problem. And then Tanya puts your application together. DCD opens the actual submission of it on October 28th.
Very
So-
good.
Okay. Well, he'll be back before October 20th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you. I moved.
All, yeah,
You seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That motion carries.
Moving on to action item 7.2, Krista Rogers, vote to approve the mutual non-disclosure agreement with Paylocity.
Krista?
Yes, this is a non-disclosure agreement that's required so that information services can get answers to specific items within proprietary software. It has been reviewed by the solicitor.
Could you tell the public what Paylocity is?
We're looking at options to upgrade our financial system as well as streamline some of the services within the county financial services. This one would potentially offer HR and payroll. There have been no decisions made, but we need to do our due diligence first, and this is one step to be able to complete that.
Thank you. Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
you.
Thank you, Krista.
Action item 7.3, Nancy Ackley, vote to approve the agreement with Cornell Abraxas Group.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Nancy.
I have before you our agreement with Cornell Abraxas for the 2023-24
fiscal year that we're asking for your approval on. If you flip to the double side, there's another page that has the per diems on. There's a whole host of programs we utilize through them. They requested some substantial increases in a couple other programs. One, for instance, was 77.1. That was for drug and alcohol treatment for males. The drug and alcohol treatment for the females had a 51.2% increase. I got those down to 15%.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve. Thank you for your efforts there, Nancy.
I
You're
will,
welcome.
I will second that. Do you have anything else to add, Commissioner?
No, I apologize.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion does carry.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a good day.
Thank you, Nancy.
Moving to action item 7.4, Leslie to vote to approve the UPS purchase for the courthouse from ePlus Technology.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Allison. We're asking your approval for a replacement UPS for our courthouse. It sustained some issues over the last few months, and it just needs replaced. It is under CoStars in the amount of $46,463.14. We are working with maintenance on the funding for this unit. This unit actually powers our switches, cameras, and phone system in the courthouse. It has, just technical if you'd like to know, it is a 2-hour run time, and this will kick in before the generator does, and from what I understand, the generator takes between 8 and 10 minutes. So this will keep all our equipment up for those 8 to 10 minutes until the generator kicks in.
So, and the UPS stands for?
It's a power supply.
Right, Unified Power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uninterruptible power supply system.
There you go.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion does carry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. At this time, Commissioner's comment?
So the only comment I wanted to make is last week a constituent, I don't see him here today, had asked the commissioners about a complaint alleging that one of the judges of elections in, I think, Muncie Creek Township?
Tom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Scheck, Tom. He asked about having written to us about a complaint about the judge of elections being biased and not able to carry out the elections. And the complaint, we had seen it and we had received it, but I told him that we would get back to him specifically. The complaint didn't have any specific evidence in it or cite any specific circumstances in which the judge was alleged to have taken an incorrect or inappropriate action while conducting the election. And the individual there has been judge of elections for several years, and there's never been a problem. There were other complaints. The complaint contained other allegations involving township politics and legal violations that fall outside the County Board of Elections, that the County Board of Elections doesn't deal with. However, out of the abundance of caution, our Office of Elections forwarded the complaint to the district attorney on the day it was received. And it's the district attorney's job to determine whether there's any merit to the complaints. Obviously, I think everyone understands why the Board of Elections wouldn't pass judgment on it, because doing so would allow 3 members of a Board of Elections to knock people out left and right. So it's sent to the district attorney, who then is empowered to do an investigation like he would with any allegation of criminal conduct. And so I did want to get back to Tom about that.
We are in the 2024 budget process, and so we're learning more and more about future concerns and challenges facing our county. And we had a meeting with the courts, APO, JPO, and one of the disturbing reports that we heard was that when we have juveniles that have committed serious crimes, right, there are no longer any facilities locally or within the state to send these people. And it's not a small amount, well, it would be small in comparison, but it's, what did they say, about 30 juveniles per year on average that are sent to these facilities. Currently, they are being sent to Ohio. And what does that require? It requires two officers to take them there. The time that they spend, I mean, we don't know. The only thing we didn't ask was it was pre-trial or not. But regardless, it's incarceration. It's not a facility that these are cells and everything like that. It has to be PREA compliant, which means PREA stands for Prison Rape Elimination Act. So we called a couple, the commissioners called a couple, other facilities here, and no one's would be PREA compliant. So that means you have to keep them out of sight and out of sound in a facility of juveniles. So the disturbing side of it is you can have someone there for months, or up to a year. Mostly, 30, 60 days. But the cost is $700 a day. That's just to house them. So it doesn't sound, like you have 30, I'll call them inmates, but 30 juveniles, that adds up to a lot of money. And it's not getting any better. So I don't think we're going to leave it to this Board of Commissioners. We just want to bring it to the attention of the public, but something critical needs, has to take place. It is it's a long trip, and so you have then the gas, the 2 employees, the overnight stays, plus you're at the mercy of the courts. When do they want them? When do they want to see them? So it's a scheduling nightmare. We will discuss this and see if there's anything else we can do, but in the meantime, that's something that's going to have to be discussed.
So, and the other facility was in Grove City, PA, which is 3.5 hours, and,
Right.
and then Ohio's a little bit, Steubenville, Ohio's a little bit further. On the positive side of this conversation, the juvenile probation officers are trying to become more proactive and working to keep down the number of juveniles by engaging with them, and some of this is also what we do in our homes, right, with our kids in terms of how do you settle disputes. Obviously, someone who pulls a knife or a gun on somebody who's a juvenile to rob them, or and a lot of those crimes are involved with drugs. But I think everything we can do to try to be preventative by engaging our youth. When I grew up, it was a busy youth is a tired youth. Busy meaning you're either working jobs or you're doing something. So I think to the extent that we can keep our youth engaged in various ways. That's why all these programs that we help to fund are so important, whether it's Kappa that was here a couple of weeks ago, or Fire Tree Place, or the YMCAs and so forth, where we get kids engaged.
Plus, imagine the family.
Right.
I mean, they're not able to, unless they're going to travel that far, they're not able to see their loved ones.
Right.
That makes it very difficult on both.
Right. And maybe, Commissioner, as we talk, maybe the solution is to get a number of the counties in the central region together and see if we can do something Of course, we have the largest population probably.
Okay, we'll move on to general public comment. So, anyone, please state your name.
Good morning. I'm Tony Cooper from South Williamsport. I currently serve on our county's Human Services Advisory Board and MHID Subcommittee at the pleasure of the commissioners. Last Friday we had a prison board meeting, and during that prison board meeting I was able to bring the fruits of the labor of a right-to-know request and identify a policy within our prison that was discriminatory as written, and I was able to do that by using that civil discourse to find that information and bring that to your attention. So it's very important that we have that. And in the past I've filed right-to-know requests with the county, and there's a whole process, and I'm sure you guys are aware of that. And whenever it's not resolved, there's legal to resolve those issues. And last year, I gave paperwork to our county administrator, Mr. McDermott, and in his office, and then his secretary, Ms. Dawson's the name, she gave me a copy of them. And so far it's been like it's been ignored, but here's a copy of those, Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
So there hasn't been any action in the court with these dockets. So irrefutable evidence that I've given them to you is on YouTube. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. And also my observation in the prison board, whenever I was at that meeting, I would like the commissioners to consider the statutory requirements for board membership and give the public a better view of that board, as in public membership, public defender membership in that board. It just seemed like that everybody in the room was in the lock 'em up side of the house. There wasn't enough soft elements, I believe, on that board. I don't know how that works. I haven't looked at those requirements, but just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention.
Mr. Cooper, we did look into that, which you brought to our attention.
Yes.
And are you the one that looked? The policy was
There
in
is-
there,
Yeah.
just not in that section. So it talked about disability.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The language that you, we appreciate you bringing it to attention. The language you mentioned is actually in the policy. It's in a different section. Now, should it also be in that section too? I'm certainly open to doing that and seeing. But there is a reference, if I recall, in the policy about not discriminating on the basis of disability. So we will make sure that it's also put in the general section on it. And honestly, I think that what it probably was not an intentional effort to keep it out, but it was probably when the policy was modified or written, it wasn't moved over. So
Yeah, yes, and one of the things I noticed about the policies that I thought was kind of off was the policy has a lot of SOP type information in it. If you make your policies a lot more simple and pretty much reflective of the laws above you, and start moving standard operating procedures to a different type of document, then you wouldn't have to redact a policy. Like I received a policy yesterday through a right-to-know request, and part of it was redacted. I'm like, this is a policy, why is it redacted? Because that information should probably be in another document.
all right, well, that's an interesting point. In other words, have a
It
document
keeps the
it was
policies-
redacted for security reasons.
Yes.
Probably.
So if you take those same policies and you make them generic, just like the laws that are above us at the state, they're open to the public for public inspection. So if these same policies are always available online for public inspection, I wouldn't have to wait over a month requesting a copy of a policy,
Yeah.
because inevitably the county goes ahead and throws a 30-day extension on you, even if it's like sitting in the box next to you.
That was being discussed at our budget hearings. We have many departments that receive right-to-know requests. And then sometimes they're frivolous right-to-know requests, and then many times they're just right-to-know requests that we would give you that information in certain departments if you ask for it.
Sure.
But the right-to-know says if we do that and you accept it, then there's no other recourse, right? So by filing a right-to-know, you will get a redacted if something needs to be withheld.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, and I get that, and I get that, and it totally, I didn't want to see that information that was redacted.
Right.
But as a citizen, I don't want to see that kind of stuff in our public policy.
Right. And then
It needs to be removed from that, put someplace else where you redact stuff. Public policies should never, ever be considered classified at any point. Public inspection of this information is critical.
Right. And one of the issues and stresses that's placed on people, and it's amazing, we have our right-hand man at the DA's office that spends a lot of his time doing right-to-know request instead of being in doing his job. So, and I mean, even our personnel here, you're fully aware of the time that it takes to get certain things processed and shipped out to the requester. It's to a point right now that we have to seriously consider hiring an attorney for the county and maybe one assistant to handle all right-to-knows so that they can get to you without extensions quickly. Okay, right. And that is difficult. I mean, this is a lot of stress that's placed on every agency.
Sure.
So,
sure. And I'm with you on that having the attorney help with that sort of thing is great. But that model's been tested. I filed a lot of right-to-know requests, and the county literally hired a law firm to fight me on those right-to-know requests.
That happens.
Yeah, and with particularly those, I had to fight a law firm and win those on my own.
So you asked, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you asked about the board of the prison board, the composition of it. So I understand that the composition of the prison board is statutorily defined. And I don't know whether we have any leeway other than, without looking at the statute, Mr. Cooper, the statute says the prison board shall consist of, the commissioners, the various people on it. Right. Whether there is leeway for to put someone else on it, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying, but last Friday what we had was a prison board meeting at the prison with no technology, no way to broadcast that. I mean, sure, the public's invited. At the last meeting, you just said the date. You didn't really say where it was. It happens. I asked the director, and he gave me the information. But so that meeting happened outside of the public, essentially.
Well, you were there.
I was there. I was the only public member there.
Okay, but so it wasn't outside the public. The public
technically no.
No, the public was allowed to come in.
But when we have the meetings here, they're live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It becomes very easy for the public to interact without having to travel here, without having to do all that stuff.
I don't think we have the technical capability to put them on YouTube. And frankly,
they do it every other time here.
No, this room has. This room is set up for it. It's not like something you can just walk into a room and put it in, right? It has to be wired. And for security reasons, it may not also be on YouTube. Because believe it or not...
That's what executive sessions are for.
No, I don't mean security that way. I mean people who... Listen, obviously you came into the prison and, we are mindful of having people just know the layout of the prison. When I clerked at the federal court, much to our surprise, we found this guy was on trial for murder, and his buddy was in the back of the room sketching the courtroom to figure out a way to plan an escape, right? So, but what I'm saying to you is we comply with the law's requirement that they be open. You physically walked in.
Yeah, I think most of them problematic is just having the meeting there. There was absolutely zero reason to have it in that location.
Statute says we have to have them at the prison a certain number of times a year. That's why we hold them. Absolutely. Okay. That's why we hold them at the prison. Okay. And if you notice, we hold them most of the time in this room, which is very accessible.
Yes,
right?
Very much.
But it's open. But I just wanted to comment on this right to know stuff. Because, and this is important for incoming Board of Commissioners. Information is deemed public, right? This is the law and this is the policy in Lycoming County. Information is deemed public unless it is accepted out of the right to know law. So if you call us, if you want to know what the expenses are at the landfill, or you want to know something, if you call, we're supposed to give it to you. Now, here's the deal. If you call and you ask me for the golf course finances and I forgot a page, you can't claim that I kept information from you.
No.
Only if you file a right to know. I guess what I'm trying to say is the public doesn't have to file right to knows to get information if they call us and ask us for it.
Because we've absolutely instructed every department to give information.
It's the written policy in the county policy manual.
Instead of asking for a right to know.
Now, if you call and you ask for information that is not entitled to be known, right? You want my personnel record, you want to know my personnel record, right? That's not public information. We would tell you. But if you call up and you ask for something, and I think that what happens is people get into a headset that they have to file a right to know. And I don't know, sometimes maybe they enjoy doing it, although it seems incredibly time consuming. When if you pick up the phone, and especially if you build a relationship with a commissioner, commissioners are going to respond to members of the public. I mean, that's their job, you know. So I would just encourage people to not feel,
Thank
you know, Penn State is not subject to the right to know law. And it's a huge problem. They
It's higher
lobbied.
education, and so our Apache schools are the same way.
Well, no, Penn
Because
State
it's
got itself written into an exception when they passed the law. They lobbied, and it's been a problem because there's a lot of information about, you know, we give a lot of money to Penn State. I have nothing against Penn State. But when we're giving lots and lots of money to any place, we need to know where it's going. And I'm not saying they're misspending.
That's
I'm just
because
saying that elected officials believe in transparency.
Penn State falls under that category of state-related, not state.
Yeah, that's not why they're exempt. They're exempt because they literally got themselves written in as an exemption.
Okay,
And
thank
yeah,
you,
I don't
Mr.
want to
Cooper.
go on forever.
All right, hey, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay.
Nick? Did me next, anyone else?
Just real quick, when you were talking about whether they were sending the kids to Ohio pre-trial or after, they do send them pre-trial. Even sometimes when the charges get dropped and there is no trial. So they have that expense for, you know, for whatever.
I don't know if it's a good thing you're waiting for me or not. Tom Adams, Williamsport, before I get started. You know, going to the trials, people would take the Sun Gazette and the Web Weekly with them. The only thing they'd have to do is figure out which one they'd read first, you know, if you're serving on jury. There you go. Let's see, Proverbs, Psalm 118:18, open my eyes that I may behold wonderful things from your law. And so I think it's really important that everyone's involved with education. You know, we talk about a lot, and because if we're not educated, we lose freedom, we lose ability to know what's good for us, and we can easily be manipulated. So, according with the Bible and how our founders viewed education, they think it's so important because it said it brings liberty and freedom, and eventually we got things corrected in our country with part of the country didn't want to allow that type of education to everyone in the population. But when these issues finally came to an end, and we push for education, it brings us progress. And now we have a lot of issues in our schools because of miseducation and a lot of
false teachings. And there's some things that had been taught people for decades. I've heard people say there's a separation of church and state in the Constitution. It's never there, never will be. And that's one little thing that we've always been able to take Bibles and have prayer in the schools. The Supreme Court is the supreme law of the land. And the courts aren't to be arbiters of our Constitution. You read your Constitution, you understand Congress is over the courts, and the Supreme Court is only supposed to rule over the courts. They're not supposed to decide for the rest of the country what you can and can't do. So in the light of education, on my note, Benjamin Rush, Dr. Benjamin Rush, known as the father of American education, said main objects for education is to love God, love country, and love family. So those are the main goals of public education. Because if you don't love God and you don't love your country, your family won't be protected if you don't have a good moral society. Gouverneur Morris, he was a signer of the Constitution, he stated that religion is the only basis of good morals. Therefore, education should teach the precepts of religion and the duties of man toward God. And when we talk about religion, we're talking about biblical Christianity. Precepts of God are to love God and love your neighbor. And that's what we really need in our schools. We can bring that stuff back. And I only say schools because, we think education, but of course, whenever we interact with anyone in our society, no matter what, we can bring that type of mindset and respect and decency back into our society. And we're not all going to be perfect, but we can help others to see that a difference. And if we can have that locally and keep our local area strong, we can be a model for other areas and let that spread. Because if we don't do it, who will? And who will protect us when we need the protection of God? Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Bob, would you like to say a few comments about the Max?
I agree.
Would you like to have a few comments about Max up there in Jersey Shore, the student?
Going around, I was told that he passed. I thought, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were too.
You said that you heard he hasn't, so praise God for that. He's still hanging on. We want to pray for him.
Okay, any other public comment? Hearing none. Our next meeting will be September 21st here at 10 a.m. We are adjourned.
Let's look at that.
Hey, Commissioner?
Yeah.
We're going to have the HR meeting in 15 minutes.
Great.
Yes. Do I need to do anything other than X this out? Do you know if that does anything else?
Just exit out. Yeah.
Always that. Try to.